Children, I'm back with the second part of the video. The lesson we were discussing was the last lesson by Alphonse Daudet. I told you about the author and the background of the story when it was written. It was written during the Franco-Prussian War, and what happened as the result of the war. Two districts of France, Alsace and Lorraine, was handed over to Prussia. It will not become the part of France anymore. So what happens? What will be the situation at the school on the students and on the language teacher who had dealt with the language for so many years, but from now onwards the language will not be taught to the children. So what will be the situation of the teacher and also the village people? For everybody, those who were using that particular language. Okay, in this chapter, the last lesson, we are dealing with that. So first part I dealt with that in the previous video, and in this video I'll be making the rest part. Okay, so I'll read it out and I'll explain that to you. While I was thinking of all this, I heard my name called. So the teacher calls out Franz. As we know that Franz was the little boy, the school going boy who never loved the language and also who never loved to study. So finally the teacher calls out to Franz as it was his turn to recite the topic of participles. Okay, it was my turn to recite. What would I not have given to be able to say the dreadful rule for the participle all through, very loud and clear and without any mistake? So as the news had impacted Franz, he was eager to study because he felt that this is the time, this is the perfect time for him to give all his effort to learn that language. He was desperate to show his eagerness for that language. He wanted to be able to recite the topic at once he wanted to recite the topic and without any mistake. And he wanted to please his teacher. He wanted to, see a glimpse of happiness, glimpse of satisfaction in the eyes of his teacher. His desperation is reflected in his willingness to give away all that he had in return for reciting the lesson well. But I got mixed upon the first words and stood there holding on to my desk, my heart beating and not daring to look up. Mixed up means confused, muddled up. Okay. So as Franz, he did not know anything about the lesson, about the participles. He got confused. He could not recite the participles in a good way. His heart was beating very faster as he was ashamed of himself and did not have the courage to face his teacher also. I heard M. Hamel say to me, "I won't scold you, little Franz. You must feel bad enough. See how it is. Every day we have said to ourselves, bah, I have plenty of time. I'll learn it tomorrow. And now you see where we have come out." M. Hamel then went on saying to Franz that he would not scold him that day because he realized his mistake. Franz had realized his mistake. And and the teacher told to Franz that how he was escaping from study, how he was telling that there is a next day to learn, to read, to study. And now the opportunity to study had ended and he knew nothing. The opportunity for him to study in the school, being in the classroom, the opportunity to study the language, it has ended. But till now he has not learned anything. That's the great trouble with Alsace. She puts off learning till tomorrow. Now those fellows out there will have the right to say to you, "How is it you pretend to be Frenchmen and yet you can neither speak nor write your own language? But you are not the worst, poor little Franz. We have all a great deal to reproach ourselves with." So pretend means to show, to reproach means to blame. Okay. So M. Hamel said that all the people of Alsace were to be blamed as no one was serious towards learning. Nobody wanted to learn seriously. He tells the class that the enemies, that means the Prussians were their enemies. Okay, so the Prussians would definitely laugh at them, and they would definitely say that they only show to be Frenchmen. They said, that means all the people of France, they told that they are Frenchmen, but they neither know to speak nor to write their own language. So how can they be the Frenchmen? So how can they be the native speakers, native language speakers? You see, you are a language speaker, means you should have the command over your language, your mother tongue. If you don't know how to read or how to write your language, that means you are not the netizens, right? You feel it really ashamed that you are unable to read nor to write your own language, which you supposed to feel that it is your language. So everybody was at fault. Your parents were not anxious enough to have you learn. They preferred to put you to work on a farm or at the mills so as to have a little more money. And I have been to blame also. Have I not often sent you to water my flowers instead of learning your lessons? And when I wanted to go fishing, did I not just give you a holiday? See, that means M. Hamel says that the parents of France, they were also not interested in getting France educated. The parents of France always wanted him to work at a farm or a mill, for which he can earn some money and it will be a support for them. He says that as a teacher also, you see, France was not teaching them in a good way, in a proper way, because he would send his children always to water the plants, and sometimes he would declare a holiday only because M. Hamel wants to go for fishing. So even M. Hamel blames himself for the people could not learn the language properly. Then from one thing to another, M. Hamel went on to talk on the French language, saying that it was the most beautiful language in the world, the clearest, the most logical, that we must guard it among us and never forget it. Because when a people are enslaved, as long as they hold fast to their language, it is as if they had the key to their prison. See, it means M. Hamel praises their mother tongue, French language, as being the most beautiful, clearest language and the most logical language in the world. M. Hamel tells that the class, to guard their language, as it is only way to free oneself from the prison or from the slavery or from the suppression the suppressors impose upon them. If a person knows his mother tongue well, no one can enslave him. If you know your mother tongue, you will never feel that you are enslaved. Somebody has made you their slaves. You will not feel in such way. Knowing the mother tongue well as a language is a tool to fight the domination. From one thing to another, M. Hamel went on to talk of the French language, saying that it was the most beautiful language in the world, the clearest, the most logical, that we must guard it among us and never forget it, because when a people are enslaved, as long as they hold fast to their language, it's as if they had the key to their prison. See how beautiful these lines are. M. Hamel praises their mother tongue, French language, as it is the most beautiful language, the clearest language and most logical language in the world. M. Hamel tells that if a person knows his mother tongue, then he will never feel that he is enslaved by anybody else. Knowing the mother tongue as well as knowing the own language, it's a kind of tool to fight the domination. Then he opened a grammar and read us our lesson. I was amazed to see how well I understood it. All he said seemed so easy, so easy. I think, too, that I had never listened so carefully and that he had never explained everything with so much patience. It seemed almost as if the poor man wanted to give us all he knew before going away and to put it all into our heads at one stroke. At one stroke means at once. Okay. So the teacher took a lesson in grammar. That day Franz was surprised that he understood the lesson with ease. He felt that he had been attentive in the classroom, and M. Hamel also explained the lesson with lot of patience. Franz felt that the teacher wanted to give them all the knowledge he had before leaving. After the grammar, we had a lesson in writing. That day M. Hamel had new copies for us, written in a beautiful round hand, Franz Alsace, Franz Alsace. After grammar, they had a lesson in writing. M. Hamel gave the class new notebooks with Franz Alsace beautifully written on them. They looked like little flags floating everywhere in the schoolroom, hung from the rod at the top of our desks. You ought to have seen how everyone set to work and how quiet it was. The only sound was the scratching of the pens over the paper. So, Franz felt that here was an air of patriotism in the class. The notebooks were like flags of France that were floating all around. The entire class was busy writing, and the only sound that could be heard was that of the sound of the pen writing on the paper. Once some beetles flew in, but nobody paid any attention to them. Nor even the littlest ones, who worked right on tracing their fish hooks as if that was French too. Then what happens, let's see. Once some mosquitoes flew into the classroom, but no one paid any attention to that. Everyone was busy in writing. The writer considers the pigeons sitting on the roof of the class to be students, as well as says that even the pigeons were busy scratching the roof with their claws. On the roof, the pigeons cooed very low, and I thought to myself, will they make them sing in German? Even the pigeons? The coo sound of the pigeons could be heard in the class, and Franz wondered that would the Prussians force the pigeons also to change their language and coo in German? Whenever I looked up from my writing, I saw M. Hamel sitting motionless in his chair and gazing first at one thing, then at another, as if he wanted to fix in his mind just how everything looked in that little schoolroom. So in between writing, Franz, he was looking at M. Hamel. M. Hamel was sitting still and he stared at different things in the classroom in succession, as if he wanted to memorize the appearance of everything before leaving. See, whenever you feel that it is the last day of you to be there, particularly in your class, you will feel that everything you should capture that. Whatever present in your classroom, you should capture that with the blink of your eyes. So the same thing was our M. Hamel doing. He was trying to capture everything with every blink of his eyes. So let's continue. Fancy, for 40 years, he had been there in the same place, with his garden outside the window and his class in front of him. Just like that, only the desks and benches had been worn smooth. The walnut trees in the garden were taller, and the hopvine that he had planted himself twined about the windows to the roof. Worn smooth means had worn out and become smooth due to overuse. Okay. Twinned, okay, T-W-I-N-E-D, twinned means twisted. M. Hamel had been teaching at that same place for the last 40 years. The only changes were that the desks in the classroom had worn out due to overuse. The walnut trees in the garden outside, they had grown taller. The hoppin on the outer wall of the school building had climbed up to the roof. Let's continue. How it must have broken his heart to live it all, poor man, to hear his sister moving about in the room above, packing their trunks, for they must leave the country next day. Franz feels that the teacher must be heartbroken to be sent away from a place where he had spent almost 40 years of his life. The noises of his sister packing and moving their luggage could be heard from the room upstairs as they had to leave the next day. But he had the courage to hear every lesson to the very last. After the writing, we had a lesson in history, and then the babies chanted there, ba, baby, bo, boo. So here M. Hamel remained composed and heard the lesson from the entire class. Franz referred to the class as babies because although they were grown up, they were reciting the lessons of phonetics like bo, ba, be, be, boo, everything, which is usually done by younger children. So he calls himself and his class to be babies. Down there at the back of the room, old Hauser had put on his spectacles and holding his primer in both hands, spelled the letters with them. You could see that he too was crying. His voice trembled with emotion, and it was so funny to hear him that we all wanted to laugh and cry. Ah, how well I remember it, that last lesson. Hauser had put on his spectacles and holding the primer in both his hands, he recited the letter with the class. He was crying and his voice was trembling as he was speaking. Franz had mixed feelings, that he was feeling it was very funny to see how an old man like Hauser was crying and trembling, and on the other hand he was also feeling very emotional like Hauser did. All at once the church clock struck 12, then the Angelus. Angelus, it is the prayer song in the church. Just then the clock at the church struck 12 and the prayer song, it began. At the same moment, the trumpets of the Prussians returning from drill sounded under our windows. M. Hamel stood up very pale in his chair. I never saw him look so tall. Pale means here used to describe a person's face which looks like it has no glow, colorless, pale. Okay. At the same moment, what happened? The sound of the trumpets played by the Prussian soldiers, it was heard. They were returning from the drill, and M. Hamel's face became very dull and it looked very colorless and pale as the time had come for the class to get over. My friends, said he, I, but something choked him. He could not go on. Then he turned to the blackboard, took a piece of chalk, and bearing on with all his might, he wrote as large as he could, Vive la France. So then what happened? Choked means, see, he was unable to speak due to strong emotions. M. Hamel began to speak, but he could not continue as he was overpowered by his emotions. He took a piece of chalk and he wrote, Vive la France. So this is a quote in France. It means long live France on the blackboard as large as he could. Then he stopped and leaned his head against the wall, and without a word he made a gesture to us with his hand. School is dismissed. You may go. So gesture is a signal. Okay. Then he stopped writing. He bent towards the wall and he could not speak anything. Without speaking anything, he just signaled the class to leave as the class was over. So it was all about the explanation of the chapter, the last lesson.